Hi.
Who cannot believe this?
I said we are not scoring any goals, so forget that to this thing. If you're doing self
Accra be hard, so stress for the yard, but we still go day streets before find some meats.
Stay by plan. Stay by plan. All the girls, all the boys, for stay by plan. Stay by plan. Accra, stay by plan. All the boys, all the girls, for stay by plan. Stay by plan. Stay by plan. All the boys, all the girls, for stay by plan. Just a stay by plan with Afi and Zuu. All the G's for Accra, shall we did for you? If you also want to react, then that'd be cool. Hashtag stay by plan, shall we did for you?
Hi guys, welcome back again to yet another episode of Stay by Plan. And as you can see, everybody here is all geared up because we're come to have a very special episode. If you're like me and you're a dummy for sports, but when it's around World Cup, you are all geared up, then welcome to this episode too. We have a very amazing guest in the studio today. I think Zuu has wanted you on a podcast for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know each other personally or...
Yeah, Zuu is my G.
Oh, okay.
OG,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
I beg you.
We have the one and only Owuraku. Hey, why?
Sorry.
You see how Zuu is?
you
Zuu
looked
said
at
that
me-
every time I let him do the intro. I'm doing the intro.
You looked at me like you wanted me to
Introduce.
take over.
Introduce.
Oh my god.
Introduce,
Yeah, she
take
thinks
over.
she's slick. Oh.
I
So
know
we
his
have-
name is Owuraku Ampofo. He's a
okay.
sports journalist.
Yes, go
He
on.
works with 3 News.
Yeah,
And-
that'll pass.
Another one.
Joy is my ex.
He's a sport journalist. So you can just take over, fine, never mind.
No, let's let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so my name is Owuraku Ampofo.
Okay.
I'm a sports journalist. I work with 3 Sports, that's at TV3.
Okay.
I also do some data work with Opta as well. Yeah, that's basically me.
You do some data.
data work with like Opta.
Okay.
In terms of analysis.
Tell us what's Opta for the people who don't know what Opta is. I know what Opta is, but a lot of people don't know what Opta is.
Why do you do? A lot of people don't know what time. I don't know what to say anyway.
Exactly.
So Opta is like the largest provider of football statistics in the world. They like had first mover advantage. They've been around for a very long time. Have basically like all around the world. They supply teams, member associations with like data. So yeah, that's basically Opta. They're like the hub of data, football data. Actually.
Every time you say
Yeah.
data, I get so excited because like I've always, that's my final self-actualization purpose. If that makes sense. Like
To find data.
no, to be involved in data science, data analytics. And before we started this episode, I told Zuu that like I don't even know what I'm coming to do on this episode because I know nothing about sports.
Yeah.
But then you started to talk about data, and it's very interesting for me. So I mean, as the podcast episode goes, I guess I'll have some questions to ask.
Before we get into it, yes, our jersey, Afi's jersey and my jersey are from G Sports.
I just knew that's what you were going to do.
From G Sports GH, you know. So yeah, get into them on Instagram.
I want you
They'll hook
guys
you
to
up.
know
It's a Black Star
that-
season.
Zuu is a very dangerous person. That's all I have to say. But yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
What he said.
So yeah, before we get into the serious conversations here,
Mhm.
from the time I knew you,
Yeah.
you were a Barcelona fan. But now when I see you on the internet and things, you are claiming Chelsea.
Yeah.
What happened? What's going on?
So you see, there's this long-standing perception that you cannot change it. Nobody can. Why?
No, Mega, let me ask you a question. When Barca plays, do you still feel like, do you have any feelings for them?
No.
You don't care.
No, it's
You are lying,
almost.
lying.
No, I'm serious. Like you can ask my family. I don't watch Barcelona matches anymore. I don't even know what's going on with the team.
Well, what happened?
So yeah, just to clear that perception, I think is so wrong. It's such a wrong way of thinking that you believe that because you chose a team, you have to support it. And I have evidence to back why it's such a wrong decision. Number one, most of us start supporting teams at a very young age.
Yeah.
You are not fully capable to make a decision based on what you've seen and your own assessment of the team to, start to think that it's a team that you want to support. So mostly it's because your dad is a Chelsea fan or Man U fan, or you're born into that, and so you start supporting the team. But I think that you need to give yourself some time, see different teams, and then you make that decision. So it's a flawed thought that you cannot change teams. Me, I think that supporting a team it's something that's supposed to bring you happiness, joy, because you love what they bring to you. That's why you're with them.
So how about Arsenal fans? Okay, but Arsenal has been doing well now, right?
So I was even about to use my personal experience as well. I was also,
say it with your chest.
I was okay. So like he said, I've been an Arsenal fan since I was a child because it's in my family. Like we're all Arsenal fans, and they started destroying my life. Like you can't even go to school. Like after the weekend, you go to school is long. So I also kind of tried to stop, but now they're trying to draw me back in, and it's kind of working, So I get what you're saying. Me, I tried to stop, but Charlie, it's not easy.
That's where your heart is.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even for the Chelsea card. The supporting is not back. It's not like reached the peak stages like when I used to support Barca.
You picked the wrong team to support. Why would you pick Chelsea?
Oh, so that's the way I picture. You let me start with why I left Barcelona. So the Barcelona that I knew was a club that had values. They had ethics. They had a specific way they wanted to play. They had a specific way that they wanted to carry out themselves. And so unfortunately, the club was just losing everything of that in terms of, how they were handling transfers, how they were handling players, the way they were playing on the pitch, their leaders. It was just too many wrong decisions. And I even saw this ahead, left before Messi did. So it's not even because Messi left. No. Look how they even treated Messi. So I just thought, this is not the Barcelona that I knew, and so I left. I don't have time.
I think I saw the tipping points for you. The Champions League, was it 2019?
Is it a Roma or which one?
No,
Liverpool. Comeback. Yeah, that I was mad that day. And it's because it happened. The same thing that happened the year before.
The year before. So let me give context. Because people like Afi who don't know what's going on. So
I'm just chilling here. I'm just decorating the set.
Yeah. So Barca is, historically one of the greatest teams in the world, and they had a period where they were winning a lot, and then suddenly they were not winning enough. And the main trophy that everybody wants to win in Europe is the Champions League. That's the biggest European trophy, and Barca kept and it was the way they were losing. It was like comebacks. They'll win the first leg. Then the second leg, the other team will come back and knock them out. It's like, it happened like once, twice, 3 times, consecutive years. And then there was one against Liverpool. So the first leg, they won 3-0. Yeah. And the second leg, they lost 4-0. So 4-3 on aggregates and they were out. And I was watching that match with you. Because that day you were on radio. Yeah. You were supposed to be giving commentary. And this guy left. He gave up and he left the studio. He said, no, this one there.
I won't do it again.
I will not do it again. I can't. So I feel like that was where I noticed that it started for you. So when you said you moved to Chelsea, I was like, this guy. Okay, let's get into it. Like I mentioned earlier, I said he was giving commentary for a football match. So which obviously goes to show that he's, like Afi said earlier, a sports journalist. So tell us because what did you do in uni?
I did computer science.
So how do you go from a computer scientist to start talking about football on the radio and on the TV and on the internet?
So I have to take you back a bit in my life. Growing up as a child, not always, from 12, I won't lie. Because before that, I wanted to be a doctor, a pilot, architect. All those things that never happened. So till 12, that's when I realized that, this football one seems to be sticking for a while. So I started playing with my friends. I wouldn't go to class, always complaining, blah, blah, blah. I started telling my parents I wanted to be a footballer from 13 going. Wow. And so, that was the dream. After I went to Presec, finished Presec, and I told them that, I really want to play this football thing. I don't want to do school. So they said, whilst you wait for your results, after the WASI, right? We'll have an ultimatum with you. If you're able to get into a controlled environment, an academy or a team of anything of the sort that can give us some assurance that you can become a footballer, then we'll agree for you not to go to university. So I started going around, looking for academies, doing trials. We traveled all the way to Volta region to go and play a trials. Right to Dream, which we only played for a few minutes because of rain. So I didn't make it. Came back to Dome, started training with the team. Played for a while. Played in the Division 3 for a while. So unfortunately, at the end of the allotted time, I couldn't get into a team or any academy of us. So I had to go to university because that was the agreement that we had. So I went to Ashesi. At that time, they were doing just computer science, business administration, management from the information system.
Right.
I looked at the 3 courses and I was like, I did science and physics, so let me do computer science because they will be similar. I mean,
Very different, yeah.
I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Science.
My God, it was hard. I mean, computer science, especially when you're not like super passionate about it.
I think so.
Assignments where people are using 30 minutes to do, I use like 4 days.
Yeah.
But I'm determined. I mean, I always fight. So I ensured that I still, do well in school. My dad told me that, the football ecosystem is really big. Even if you don't play it, you can always find yourself somewhere in there. So, I mean, that was the mindset I had. Very open-minded. And then in my second year, I met a friend at summer school where he said, the way you love football, have you ever tried writing? I was like, oh no, I don't even like writing that much. He's like, oh, I should just try. So he gave me a topic to write about. I wrote it and he was like, this is brilliant. I want you to start writing for, like Ashesi Alum have this project sports website that they wanted me to write for. It was called Ghana Fans. So I started writing for Ghana Fans. And then one of my articles, it was about Barbara Man. It blew up, and a journalist from Joy messaged me about it. That it was really good.
Who? Which journalist?
That was Redwan.
Redwan, okay.
Yeah, Redwan at that time messaged me. That was really good. I didn't even know him.
Okay.
But I mean, that was sort of like the beginning into what this whole professional, journalism space was like. And so I got my opportunity some months later. I wasn't even linked with one. I think we had an Ashesi student. My senior was working at Joy at that time, and they wanted a panelist for a show, and the panelist browned, and I was left. I just 1 hour to the show, and then he called me. Am I interested? I said, I'm at home. I didn't get into circle. I'll take like 30, 40 minutes. Like, if you can make it, just try. So I just actually took an Okada.
Oh wow!
Serious?
Yeah, I took an Okada because I was like, first time already, like this is an opportunity. You don't know what will come again.
Yeah.
So I tried it and spoke on it on the show, and they loved it.
How old were you?
Oh, I was in my second year. I finished university. Ish.
So you're like 20?
No, yeah, I'm sure I was 18, 20 years, like 20, 21-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe even less. I think 20. Yeah. So I went on radio, they liked it, and then they said, oh, you should be coming off in. That was like the beginning of the connection. Did my internship with Joy. And then after school, I did my national service with Joy, which is, it's a very interesting thing because, after I graduated, I still wasn't sure what I would do. But I had like 3 offers, right? They were all within the sports field. I've never said this anywhere before, but I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what journalism think, right? There's this perception that like there's not a lot of money in sports journalism.
Right.
So I was having some form of, resistance from some members of my family that you shouldn't get into it because it's not lucrative. So I had doubts. So I had an offer from Joy. I had an offer from Right to Dream, but to teach math and English. And then I was also supposed to work at the Ghana Football Association to do my national service. So I had these 2 offers on the table. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go because each of them had some red flags. So I was like, you know what? Let's wait and see. So the new week starts. Monday, big story comes out that due to analysis investigation, the number 12, the Ghana Football Association is shutting down. I say,
1 down,
okay.
2 to go.
So I was left with 2.
Yeah.
And then the next week, the head of education at Right to Dream calls me that he's so sorry, but he thinks there was a mix-up. That the position that he actually offered to me it's not been open technically. So that was a mistake. So guess what? I was left to just Joy. So I was sitting and lied at Charlie. It was straightforward like that. I think Joy picked itself. And so that's how I got into the job after the national service, got employed, and here I am.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So I think that was when I met you, was when you were doing your national service, because I was there as well. But I had finished national service and I was
Is that when you were doing the sports stuff as well?
Yeah. So I was doing an extra year. And I think at the time I was kind of like, I was just like, all my homies were like the people in the sports departments, you know what I mean? So Selwyn, Gary, George, Benedict, shout out to those guys. And then you came along as well. So we all just kind of like bonded, like it was a whole family. There was this one show on Joy Prime that you did. Sports Now. I think it was your first day or something.
Yeah.
And they blasted you. They blasted him after because he went to, I don't know, what did you do? Why did they blast you?
They say I'm not ready for TV.
Yeah, they said no, this guy is not ready. Oh, Charlie. So from that moment where I feel like that's probably one of your lows.
Yeah.
From that moment to a few years later now, you were, because now they've picked you up, one of the most sought after young journalists, not even just sports, just generally journalists in Ghana. And now you've moved from multimedia to TV3.
Yeah.
Like, when you look back, are you like, bruh, I can't believe it? Does it blow your mind?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I said the mindset that I went into the profession with was that, I told you I had the resistance from my family that, this thing is not so lucrative, you shouldn't be, So I went in there knowing that I had a point to prove from day one, but there's always a huge gap between wanting to prove a point and having the ability to prove that point.
Yeah.
And especially for me, I came in handicapped because I didn't, go to journalism school. I didn't know a lot of media stuff and all that. I was still learning, but I was willing to learn, and I was humble, and I understood that it's a process. It will take time. So as you said, I had the opportunity to go on TV. I had practiced so much, so much. And then the camera goes on, and I'm talking like I'm shy, like I'm scared. It's one of those things. After the presentation, you had like the channel head, like they just swarmed into the studio. They didn't even let me come out and breathe. First question was, what suit is this? Who gave you this suit? The suit was big or small in the suit. I was just there shaking. But I think that like those are kind of things that wake you up. Like at least I knew that these people wanted to give me a chance. And for such a space, I won't lie. Not just in sports journalism, getting into journalism in Ghana is hard.
It's very hard,
It's almost as hard as becoming not as hard, but it's also hard. No, I was supposed to, equate it to going pro, but no, going pro as well.
Yeah, that's harder,
But becoming a journalist in Ghana is crazy. It's because the gap between, starting and, benefiting at the top is so huge. And there's no real in between. And so many people give up on the ladder. So it's difficult to look up because you don't see anyone struggling, similar things that you are going through and all that. It's just the people at the top.
And then the people at the bottom.
Yeah, and then the people at the bottom. That's how I see this. That's how I see this field. And I hope one day it's rectified. But it took a lot of, effort, dedication, and the humility to learn. But for me, what was the turning point was, I remember in 2019, we're just there. And I think if this opportunity didn't come,
your mind would
perception, like I would have still been the same. I don't think I would have reached it. So I always look back and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I was just at the office and Benedict, one of the guys that he mentioned, sent me a link that, I think you fit this opportunity. It was the Future News Worldwide Conference where
I remember that.
they're choosing 100 young journalists from around the world. They just want to choose the 100 most talented journalists in the world. There's not even sports. It's everything, photography, everything media. And they will take you to a training, in London and a conference and all that for like a week. I saw it, I was like, hey, Benedict, this thing's not even sports. So it's like everything, the whole world, 100. How am I going to make it? He was like, oh, just try. I was like, nah, I just did national service. What have I even done and all that? So I should just try it and just, once I try it, you never know.
Yeah.
So I tried, I applied, and then I got in. So I go in and then, I went for the trip in the UK. And that's why I think everything changed because I met journalists who were so young but were doing so many great things. And then I was like, you know what? Age is not really a barrier. It's just that decision to do something different. Because at the end of the day, people don't really care the architect of, the product. It's more or less the end product that they're looking at. So I think it was basically like you seeing that now you have to do something different. So I came back thinking that, yes, I'm young, but I think I can find a gap somewhere, do something different, and start to stand out. So I spoke to my dad about it, and it took time, like 6, 7, 8 months, thinking about what can you do different, what can you do different, because you have to look at, there are so many successful journalists in Ghana currently, and I feel if you want to be successful in a much shorter time, you can't do what they're doing,
Yeah.
because everyone goes to them for that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and I was like, you did computer science, you didn't like it, but maybe there's some aspects of it that you can still tap into,
Right.
because it's a resource that you have. And I was like, yeah, let me just try and get into numbers, because a lot of the stuff we see in Ghana is just opinionated history. We don't really see a lot of analysis back to the data, structures, and all that. So
Yeah.
I was like, let me just give it a shot. And I tried it, and yeah, there wasn't a lot of competition because nobody was really doing it.
Right.
And it's hard. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's hard. It takes time.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people don't like those type of things.
What
So
kind of things?
things that are hard and take time.
Right.
So would you say that leads into your, because I just checked your Twitter, you have 240,000 plus followers, and do you think it was that decision and were you starting to focus on data and all those things that sets you apart and it made people start following you, like building your international audience, because you have an international audience here?
That's a tough question. I always, people always ask me, how come you have so many followers? I'm like, I don't know. I can't.
Because you even lost your account at a point.
Yeah, I started again in 2019. I think it was. I lost it in November. No, Benedict was the one who called me in the morning. I was like, what happened to your Twitter? November 1990. I was like, what? I don't know. I logged in and they are taking my account. So I actually wasn't going to create a new one. But I decided 3 months later in 2020 that I was like, you know what, let me just try again. Because I was now rebranding and, heading into the numbers and all that. I can't say exactly what it is that made my page grow, but let me just give some few tips on, the things that I did. So I put in effort in my personal branding. I got a logo. I got a website. I started to, have a plan for my social media.
Right.
And everything that goes out around my name.
Do you have a team?
Yeah, I do. And yeah, you see, that one too is money. Like,
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But I feel like those are some of the sacrifices that, because the team was young, they didn't charge me something crazy. We all understood that we were starting. So as I grow and, things get better, we'll improve in terms of the money that you're giving to them and all that. So I put effort in the personal branding. In terms of social media, I also decided that I want to tell a story with my social media. And so if you realize I'm a bit personal, I try to carry people throughout my journey. So all the milestones in my life, I always share it on social. It's almost like my personal diary, because I believe that that's what can set you apart. Like in terms of the product that you give people, you need to let them know sometimes the person behind how you grew, how you've improved over time. It lets them appreciate you more. And so I put in effort on that too as well. And basically it just blew up. But these were some of the things. I was a bit deliberate. It didn't happen overnight, and that's what people don't get. When I started my Twitter, I was getting 0 likes, 2 likes, 3 likes. Everybody starts from there.
About being consistent and stuff.
It's all about being consistent.
I want to bring us back to you basically finding the balance between sports, journalism, and then computer science.
Yeah.
So before we started recording, we were having a conversation about data science. I just wanted to go back to that. So I have always wanted to be into data science. I'm currently making moves in that direction. I did like one course with Lancaster, like just a short course for Python, how to code and stuff. And I find it very interesting. So it's very great to see someone who is actually implementing it to make real-time decisions or make real-time predictions. So what is it like for you? What are you doing with respect to how you combining the two? I want to know.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because, as I said, it's tough. That's the first thing you need to acknowledge. That is a tough field. Once you want to, get into these data stuff, because it's a lot of research, technical work, and the most important part is storytelling. It doesn't end there. So I think when you're bringing into a field like sports, right, you always have to first off identify which problem it is or what pattern that you've realized that you think you can tell a story with data. And so, for instance, you can just get up and ask yourself, in the past year, why are Ghana struggling to score goal in games? Everyone is thinking that everyone can, and you see, usually, and that's the power of social media. Social media is in such a way that you can get sample thoughts quickly. You can get this opinion that Ghana are being so bad at goal scoring from everyone. And so from that, you can see, if everyone is interested in how Ghana are not scoring, then I come in. How can I use numbers to tell that are Ghana being unlucky in front of goal? Or are Ghana just not creating enough? Or are we not putting our best players together in a particular way to ensure that we create chances to score? So there's so many things that go behind goal scoring. And that's where you can bring data science to answer some of these questions. And so, for instance, you can decide to look at a chart of maybe the number of shots that we're taking, how accurate those shots are, the number of chances we're creating, and all that. You can pitch these two against each other in, a line chart or a bar chart, or just basically any form of graphic.
Have you done like this thing you're talking about? The way you're talking about it is like you've done it before. Have you?
No, I just thought of it.
You haven't done it before. So we should do it together then.
Yeah, you have to do this.
So basically, you just need to get the data. So where will you get data like that from, though?
Oh, there are, as I said, a lot of providers at the moment. There's Statsbomb, there's Opta, and even most of there's a second tier of companies who get all these data from the providers. So there are a lot of websites that you can get some of these data from in terms of like the shots and all that. But I think for me, the one work that stood out for me was the Ghana Premier League, because whenever you do data work on the Ghana Premier League, people tend to appreciate that a lot more because you don't have
it's
a lot
not
of
done.
numbers.
Yeah.
All these companies I mentioned, they don't provide data here. It's very difficult to pick up data here. So what I did was that I was like, the Ghana Premier League started some years ago, all the way in the 90s. If we were to look at every season from the 90s till now, what are we going to notice? Who's been the best team so far? At what point did that team dominate, and what was the cause of that? So I pitched that, and I realized that Asante Kotoko at the end had toppled Heart of Oak in terms of like points won. And it's very interesting because I did a bar chart race, and so you could see points accumulations as the seasons were going on, and you could tell sometimes that there were like some periods where one club would be picking up all the points, and you go read about it and you realize that they had some investment of a sort and were buying all the players. And so it's interesting when they use the data to tell the story, and then you get other backings in terms of what was happening with the team and all that. So that's like the interesting part of telling stories with data. I think it sets you apart, it makes you more accurate, and it makes you more calculated as well.
So which programming languages do you use?
Currently, I use Python, but I'm not your most efficient programmer.
I think every programmer says that.
No. The sharks say that, but me, I'm telling you.
No, you're a shark.
my code is not the type. I don't even comment. I barely comment on my codes.
That's very bad.
You see. So
no, that's actually very bad.
My code is the type of code that
you're a very messy coder.
I wouldn't like to show you.
Don't do that.
I just want to get it because it's like I just want to write this thing and
just try. Like you have an idea, you want to quickly see how it's working. You're not even really sure.
I think that's the type of coder I would be. If I did code, that's how I would be.
I'm sorry, Zuu dragging. Zuu has had 30 minutes. If you guys have noticed, this whole episode, I haven't said anything. Zuu has had his whole bromance. I haven't said anything. So this one time that I'm talking about data science, why do you have to bring yourself inside and say that if I was a data scientist? Has anybody said that you'd be a data scientist? Please, let us have our time. Because when you start talking about the Ghana match, which is going to happen today, I will have nothing to say. So let me talk about my data science now. Okay, I get it. That's interesting.
Because
if Zuu was a data scientist, nobody would be able to read his code.
At the end of the day, if we're all plotting any type of charts, it will come out the same. Nobody will see your code.
So the code. What if you have to change the code?
No, not What if you have an error somewhere now you don't know?
The only good thing is that when you do it well, like you can always come back
Exactly.
and then change a few
So,
things.
for example, if
Yeah.
you've done it with Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko, and now somebody else wants you to duplicate, run the
And
same
also,
thing,
if you're
it'll be
coming
very
back
easy for you to
after
change
a
the vibe
long
bills
time
inside.
and you've forgotten the
Yeah,
process,
I mean,
They
there
go
always
over you.
There are benefits of
you see,
But
I know what I'm talking about.
It's really interesting to see someone else in the field because I think the data science field is now growing in Ghana. I know a lot of people are like in there, but a few people who are interested in this are very enthusiastic and very excited about it. And I guess it's interesting to see that you are using it in sports. For me, I want to use it for research and stats and in where I'm working currently and in other things. I think the first time I even started like studying this whole data science thing, I wanted to use it for music and art because my sister is an artist and I don't know if you realize that they did some balls. There were the 32 countries that qualified for they had an artist from each country design a ball. I don't know if you know about it. It just came out. So they picked my sister, right? So she did the ball for Ghana, basically. So I guess we'll put it on our page. So what I'm trying to say is I'm passionate about art and music and stuff like that. And like the problem that you were saying, people who are in these fields usually do not get paid as much as they're supposed to be because, I mean, how many people are really tracking how many times someone's song is being played or the value of someone who's a digital artist, arts and stuff like that. But I digress. But basically what I'm saying is the data science field is growing. And it's very interesting to see you use it to give like relevant conclusions and predictions. Because if you just come and say, I feel like Ghana is going to do well in the match today.
Which is what Ghanaians say a lot.
We want to see the stats. Like what has Ghana been doing the past 5 years, 10 years?
To make you feel that way.
And then the team that has been doing very well in the past 10 years, we need to look at their data and see, compare and see, okay, this is where Ghana is slacking in.
Parameters,
So me, I don't like sports, but if you give me the parameters right now,
you do it,
and I do the analysis, I come and sit here with you people, and it's as if I'm God. I know that Ghana is going to score 2. Ghana is going to get nil 5.
Speaking about the sports and football again, there was this episode that we had, and I said that when I was younger, I wanted to be a football player, and Afi said I'm lying. And I'm just glad I have someone here who had a similar dream. Please tell her that every 90% of men in Ghana before the age of 15, you wanted to be a footballer at some point.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's true.
That's exactly why I was like, it's not even that deep. So like, why are you making it like he was making it deep like yours? So
it was deep.
You didn't go to any school for it.
No, because I wasn't good enough. It's not that I didn't want to do it. I just couldn't play the ball.
No. But then you made it seem like this was your football dream.
It was
and then
my
this was
dream,
your
bro.
parents and this was you. And then you just needed to pass through them and then you be
No,
like,
that's a lie.
You
But
gave
it
that
was
vibe of like, oh yeah, me too. I always wanted to be a football
no.
player. But like,
I'm
yours
telling
was
you,
just like every average person who sees Michael Essien and I just like, oh my God, I also want to be a football player.
No,
It wasn't deep.
It was deep.
Your own wasn't deep like this.
It wasn't deep like this because I
You will
couldn't
not go
play
to
football.
Volta region, your own hometown to go and play. Zoo.
Because I wasn't good enough. If I was good enough, I would have gone. I swear to
Why
God.
weren't you good enough?
I don't know. It's not my fault.
Oh yeah.
The talent is there. If you have it, you have it.
God, I know I have talents, but where my talent is taking me.
Yeah. So back to let's talk about
The Ghana match
the
today.
Ghana Black Stars. So I think we should just give people who don't know about the World Cup like a quick overview. World Cup for dummies. People like Afi who don't even know when did the World Cup start.
In 1980. 1980.
Anyway, so yeah, World Cup for
When
dummies.
did it
Just
start?
like an overview.
When did it start?
No, I was talking about this year's competition.
No,
What date?
no. When did World Cup as a whole start? That's what I thought you asked
Actually,
me.
1935 or something.
Mama,
I
come to
just
ask
stopped
you.
at the 30.
They were like 1930s, right? Yeah.
But if you got it wrong, they're like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll call 3 News that they should sack you.
Oh no, but you can't be keeping those stats in his head.
1930, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Anyway, so
Let's do it.
just World Cup overview for you guys. I guess you can start and I'll try and add some.
So yeah, I mean the World Cup, all the countries in the world come together. 32. Every continent has its quota of countries that represent them. This year is in Qatar. Grouped into eight
Sorry,
separates.
this episode is for me. This section is for me. World Cup for dummies. Oh, so that's why they've been making so much noise about Qatar this year.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's
You
nice.
see, that's how lost she is, bro. So you have to give her the basics.
It's going on there. All right.
Yeah, so eight 8 groups,
Okay.
4 teams in every group. 2 of those teams will qualify to the knockout round.
Okay. 2 out of
Out of the 4 in
Out of each group.
out
Yeah.
of each group, and
then
each group
there are
has 8.
groups, yeah. And so
Each
2
group has
teams-
4.
Eight
Each group
groups
has
with 4.
4 teams,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So the top 2 qualify to make out the knockout round. That's a round of 16, and then that casts down after a knockout game to quarterfinals. That's 8 teams, and then you go to semifinals. Then
Final.
3rd and 4th in the final.
Yeah.
So that's like basically the structure. Africa will have 5 teams.
So if you are in one group, let's say I'm in group 8, how many, if I keep qualifying, how many games do I play in total if I
So-
reach semifinals?
If you reach semifinals, so you play 3 group
Semifinal
games,
is 6.
and then so round of 16 will be your 4th game.
Quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal will be your 5th.
Semifinal
will be
6.
your
Yeah.
But if you get to a semi-final, you play an extra match because if you lose, you play the 3rd place for the
Right,
playoff
right,
or the
right.
final if you win. And so I think in terms of structure, that's how it goes.
goes,
Brazil
right.
are probably the favorites. They always come to every World Cup as the favorites. They've won the most titles, in history.
Right.
And so this is like heritage for them.
Yeah.
But they have a really strong team this year, and they haven't won in a while
Yeah,
since
so they are back
2020.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, so they also want to perform.
So is Ghana going to win?
Oh no! I mean, if you look at
Can't do that.
if you look at the, I mean, you say you want.
Can I believe in you?
want,
You can
yeah,
do it.
you need the
You can do it.
I think I saw you posted the stats on the
What are the
chances.
stats? If you
Ghana's
give me the
chances.
stats, I agree with you because
Okay,
me, I'm
so-
a Ghana.
per betting trends, odds, betting data, considering team form and all those blah blah blah. There was a simulation done 100,000 times with all of these variables, and Ghana had a 0.1.
Oh no, you can't say that to me.
Oh,
0.1%.
I was in
of
0.
winning. But you must know how bad you are
Yeah,
for
to get
100
0.1
for 100,000
simulations
yeah.
to give you 0.1.
And I also saw that of all the countries playing at the World Cup, Ghana is the lowest ranked
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
No, but what's the problem with our country? Because I feel like we have talents, but where our talent is taking us. Where's the loophole?
It's
It's a big.
it's not even just Ghana. I think it's a continental.
Yeah, I saw a
problem.
tweet somewhere where I don't know where I saw it, but it's like, hey, why is it that like when Ghanaian players are playing for their
Clubs.
clubs, they are really doing amazing, but when they come together,
Yeah.
it's like
So
error.
I mean, I feel like this question is so deep and it can take like 3 hours to answer.
Yeah. But I think off the top of my head, one answer would just be like we just don't plan, we don't structure.
Yeah, true.
We're just operating on vibes and inshallah.
Yeah,
Which
facts.
is vibes. You people, this episode when Ghana wins, just do this.
Yeah, so even just add to that. So like
Yeah.
today, 24th, that the episode is out.
Yeah.
Ghana is playing Portugal. That's our first game. First game of the World Cup. Portugal, yes, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. Even though he's not on form,
Oh, God.
he will score 3. I'm telling you, like we are so bad. He can't really say it like that because his job and everything. Me, I can say it. Ghana is terrible. We are so bad, and it is when we played Nigeria for the playoffs to qualify for the World Cup. I'm sure you remember earlier in the year it was like Ghana Jollof Derby, whatever they called it.
Yeah.
And I was just watching the game. I think a week before they were still playing like club football, Premier League football. So I'm watching like the highest level of football. Then next week I'm watching Nigeria and Ghana, and it's just one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad. The two teams are terrible.
Hey, you are
I don't even
saying
know
a
how
lot.
we won because we didn't. I feel like Nigeria was even better than us,
Oh, yeah,
especially in the second game.
Yeah.
I was like, so this is what we are going to the World Cup with. Nah,
Who
bro,
are some
we
of the
terrible.
players on our team? I know that
We have like one good player.
who are the players now? Because the last time I knew if I say the players I know, you people have a heart attack.
Oh, you said
Like
it.
Sule Mutari.
Hey, that guy's like 40 years old.
I don't remember last time we played last.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
like, which people are playing now?
Oh, so you don't know Thomas Partey?
No,
Quite.
It's alleged Arsenal fan. You see, I feel she's not an
Wait,
Arsenal fan
I'm not an Arsenal fan. What are you saying? I said I'm an
Oh.
Arsenal fan by association.
because her boyfriend is an Arsenal fan, so
I'm proud.
them ones.
But at least you should know
You
Partey.
should know Partey. I mean, that's like the Ghana's best player at the moment.
Partey.
Yeah, Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey.
Wait, so you don't know Andrea? You too?
Oh, that one, yeah, I know. I don't have a
yeah,
choice.
yeah.
Their family is always in our face, right? Hey, no, not that way. Like when it comes to football, like
Okay, so you know Jordan as well, right?
that's what I'm saying. Like their
Yeah,
whole
the two of them,
family is in
okay,
your
yeah.
face. Like you
I
can't
feel like those are the
include them.
three most popular
Then, you know,
Ghanaian
Kudus-
players.
Kudus too
Kudus is coming up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at least you know 4 players now. So if
Kudos.
No,
Kudus.
it's not Kudus. It's Kudus.
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 Kudus. Partey. Are you?
Yeah.
Can me, I'm a pro.
So,
No, but that's
yeah.
serious. If you guys have to rack your brains to give me like 4 players.
Oh, we can give you more, but
Oh,
like those
there's
are
more,
just
but
the
yeah, I think these are
most
the-
popular ones, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we are in a group just to wrap up this World Cup for dummies. Sorry, you're not dummies, guys. We love you. We're in a group with Portugal, which is our first game. We have
South
Uruguay and South Korea.
Yeah.
These are like really good
That's
teams.
group
We are like probably the hardest
Are we
group.
group 8?
Yeah, Group H.
H.
H. That's the last group. Do you know how
Yeah.
I know?
How do you know?
Because like when I was swiping through, I'm so sorry. I'm just so proud of my sister. When I was swiping through the article, like they've
Yeah.
listed it according to groups, and it's like group this Ghana. Then
Oh.
my sister's picture is there, and then like the board that she did was there. So like shout out to our Chega, like you're doing so amazing, and yeah, congratulations on doing that. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, I think that's the hardest group.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it's.
How did they set up the groups? Is it just by casting lost?
No, so they seed the teams, right?
Yeah.
We have first seed, second seed, third seed, fourth seed. So they pick one from here, one from here, one from here, one from here.
What's
to
a
make
seed?
group.
Sorry.
So if you're if you're the first seed, it means you're technically the best.
All right, I get what you mean now. Right.
Yeah.
So we're
So-
in the fourth.
Of
I mean,
course.
per our ranking,
The
and
fourth tier,
everything,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're fourth.
One of the worst. In fact, based on the rankings, Ghana is the worst team
Yeah.
at the World Cup.
So in every
Qatar is better than us.
in every group
crazy.
they have like the highest rank, this,
Yeah.
and then these two people play against themselves, these two play against themselves. So what's
You
not
play everyone.
necessarily.
You play everyone.
Yeah.
You play
So everybody play 3 games in the group.
Yeah.
If you have enough points and you're in the top 2, you qualify to the next round.
Why don't they do it like Hunger Games and let all the seed 4 people be at the bottom and the seed 1 but you play okay, no, that doesn't work. Then obviously like the seed 1 okay,
Yeah,
never mind, I guess
yeah.
I get okay.
When it comes to national team, it's not just about form. That it is true. I feel as a national team, because you play in seasons, you cannot base everything solely on form. Otherwise, you don't even have a core. Because what happens is that today a player may be on form.
Yeah.
2 months later, he may not. So if you're picking based on form, you're going to end up picking 70, 80 players a year for the national team. The players that they're even picking, you see, the thing is that even if you're not in form, you must be good to some. If Messi was scoring like just some 5-6 goals last season.
Yeah.
But when he's on the pitch for Argentina, you can still tell that
He's
even
on
if he's
yeah.
not scoring, he's making a difference.
Yeah.
But we have some players here.
Jordan, are you?
Hey.
I've said it.
So you have some. I didn't say anything.
Me, I beg you, I'll save it on my phone.
We have some players here. 1, they are not on form. 2, they are not good.
Jordan, are you?
3, they are not ready for the national team.
Yeah.
And you have it's baffling because we've sort of made everything about the national team that we're not really making use of the youth level teams that we have, and some players that we have should be playing for the youth level and are not ready for the national team. We've made it such a something that's supposed to be a privilege. You see Brazilians crying just to make the national team.
Yeah.
We've made this so accessible that now almost everyone, you do something 1-2, you become a Black Stars player.
But I think also the problem is that our players are just bad. So if you show some small form, you can get in.
Yeah, and I just think that.
Then Zuu, you could have gotten in clearly. This is how low the bar is.
no,
People are
guys.
saying.
The bar is not that low. The bar is not that low.
But I just think that we missed out on the really fantastic golden generation between 2016 and 17,
Yeah.
where we went for 3 World Cups. We got to the semi-final of the AFCON all the way from 2008 to 2017. Got to the final a couple of times.
Just never win.
Didn't win it. Now it's just so many what could have been moments in that golden generation period that now it's just unknown. Nobody
Yeah.
knows how we're going to recover from the 2019 AFCON. We got to our round of 16. Next AFCON, we didn't even go past the group
This World
stage.
Cup will not go past the group stage.
So exactly, if
Why
we,
is Zuu doing
if
that?
we don't go past the
0.1.
group
There's a
stage,
0.1% chance.
You will see.
if we don't go past the group stage, that's when there is trouble. Because now, what does that mean for the
We're
next
playing
generation?
Portugal.
We have a young
Exactly. I don't even want to
What was
talk
the
about
other team? What the
South
South
Korea
Korea
and
and
Uruguay. Which reminds me, yeah. So the Uruguay match is like a rematch with Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's the one that will like hit the ball off the line before we got the penalty. So we are going to meet him again. He will score us.
No, Suarez, we have to get revenge. Suarez, we are coming for you. Like
I'm telling you,
that guy broke the heart of not just Ghana.
I don't, but you know, I don't blame him for that.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Because I would have done the same thing.
I don't. You see, I don't. What I blame him for is his comment after.
What do you say?
Like funny comments that maybe he can be the hand of God 2.0. Like it's almost like he's taunting the camera. I feel like you can be nice by saying that you did what you have to do. But the way he was laughing, jubilating,
he was.
If Zuu was in the same position, I've done exactly what he did.
Hey, so I should stand there and let the ball
I mean,
pass.
like even the comments, Zuu would have made the same comment. Zuu would have said, "I'm the hand of God 2.0." Literally, he said the same thing.
Look, let me tell you something about this World Cup. Ghana will finish last in our group with 0 points, 0 goals scored, and 12 goals conceded. That's my prediction. So if you are a betting person, free odds.
Like if you didn't go cry, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Worst performance
I think
ever.
It'll be 2-0.
2-0.
To Ghana.
Us, of course, 2-0.
But you know the funny,
Against us or for us?
let me
Against
tell you the funny thing about Ghana World Cups. And you see, even though I do a lot of data work, every data analyst will always tell you make room for the unknowns.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are things that numbers just cannot explain.
Yeah.
Our 2006 World Cup. No, it didn't even make sense. USA and Czech Republic.
Yes, meow meow. Oh, Ghana, we can do it.
2006, we're just qualified for the World Cup for the first time.
You guys, I don't like this.
We're in a group where USA, Czech Republic, both of them are top 5 in the world.
Yes.
Italy won the tournament, and before that, they were like on an 18-game unbeaten streak. They were like the most informed.
Oh my
European
God, I'll
team.
never forget that World Cup.
And even the first match that we lost against Italy, we played so well.
That was Ghana's first ever World Cup.
We played so well that the Italian fans were like, nah, this Ghana team is special. And we went on to beat USA and Czech Republic, who were all in the top 5. And so nobody, like...
We were almost like unstoppable. We just rose from there.
It was crazy.
You make like all the predictions and all that. But the World Cup has this real...
When the Vim comes, all the tactics goes out to the window.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to also make room for that. We've seen even the defending champions case where whoever wins the World Cup the next year, the next edition, they don't even get out of the group. And it's been happening in the past. It happened to the past 3 champions. It could happen to France. How do you explain that? You know, France are in a group with Australia, Denmark, and they don't qualify. But like that's the World Cup. There are just some nitty-gritties that you can't really point a finger to. So what you can do as a team is that you always make sure that you're giving yourself the best possible chance. Don't concede silly free kicks and all that. Just remain compact. Who knows? Your opponent could get a red card. We've seen that play in the hands of Ghana where, you know, Australia 2010, we had our opponents get a red card. Serbia in that same World Cup as well had a red card. And that could level the playing field a bit. So if you stay disciplined against Portugal...
Stop. You're giving me Vim. I don't like
Oh, no. This one doesn't...
You're making me believe.
Oh, no. You see, on paper, Portugal are really strong. But the thing about World Cup, the nerves, the event... Football is
everything
so
changes,
many minute details that one wrong decision and the whole game could just swing in your way.
I have a football for Damik's question. So I get that like majority of the time when like they are playing World Cup, it's obviously the best of the best coming together to play for a country. Do they have like some sort of synergy? Do they have like maybe training sessions and stuff like often? And then maybe for Ghana, we don't really care when it's time. Then we just put ourselves together. Because if that's what we are doing, then it's also wild. Because I feel like if, for example, we are the best of, let's say, Italy, even though we are all playing somewhere, we all know that, at the end of the day, these are the people who we know.
Do you know
so
what
at
I
least
think?
they train together and there's some synergy there. Is there a thing like that, or it's just vibes?
So I think for like the best teams in the world, usually when they succeed, if you go and check, the same team has been playing like under 17, under 50. Like they've known each other for years. Because with the national team, you don't get to play together a lot because of your club football. So you play a few games every year. So there's no time to be like training and getting chemistry and things. So you have to develop the chemistry like over years.
Right.
And for me, from my layman's point of view, looking at this Black Star squad, it feels like they are just picking guys.
That's crazy
Yeah,
though.
and we're picking like we've started this thing where you pick a lot of people who are they're Ghanaian. How would I say, like foreign-born Ghanaians? Yeah. So like, let's say your parents are Ghanaian, but you're born in Germany. You watch this guy. He's playing in Germany. I'm sure he's good. You come and join us. So like, there's some of them can't speak Tree. You know, usually they speak Tree on the field when they're playing. They can't. There's no this thing that meanwhile Neymar and them have been playing together since they were 14 years old.
Yeah, because I'm not so much like into sports or into football, but I know that like at least the most important thing for a team is some sort of synergy.
You have to know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to know each other. So like, in as much as the coach has told us to play a specific type of thing, if we go and things are happening on the field and stuff are changing, like we have a vibe. We know that Charlie has this thing where they work. Like we have to change our playing. Like
so
if
we
haven't vibed before and we haven't been on the field before together, like how do I know what your strength is or what? Are we going to watch all your videos?
Even when we were good, they kind of had that. Like
that's why
Asamoah Gyan, Essien, Apia, they were playing together when they were younger.
I think that's the most important thing
right now,
that would make a team be like.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be a sport journalist, guys.
But if you, I mean, just to add to that point, since 2020, we've used 100+ players.
Oh, you can't do that.
That's
and
wild.
you are going to face teams. Brazil have had a similar core of 19, 20 players for the past 4 years.
I think it's very important.
I feel if you have a job, right?
No, I already know the answer.
No,
I can't.
You listen. You have a job. You have 2 jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, part time. Like you're working here, and let's say you're working for Stay by Plan part time, and they are paying you money, and you need to do the best possible job, because this job you do it once every 4 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
How like I don't even know how to ask the question. Like you are coming to do this job, you are leaving your job, and
Which
coming
one
here
to do this. This one is a special one.
Yes, the one that you have to, because that other job there you can go is there every year. Yeah, that job is there.
Yeah.
You're leaving that job 1 week,
just for a while,
a week and a half before to come and do this once every 4 year job. How will you do the job properly?
No. Asa, why will I leave 1 week before?
Leaving the other job 1 week before to come and do your main special job.
Yes.
Instead of when all the other people, that's their 100% job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
all
That
they do.
even the fact that you are leaving for just 1 week to come and do that special job is a problem.
Exactly.
I thought you come to
So
like
our
I left
coach
a
is
month.
a part-time coach. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh.
So he has a job.
What's his job?
He's a coach at
For what?
Dortmund in
Talent coach.
in
So then
Germany.
they should let him be
So he's
there.
leaving Dortmund to come and do World Cup. Then you go back.
For 1 week.
No, the World Cup is. It depends on how long we are in the competition.
No, what I'm saying.
It can be a
So
week
he hasn't
long.
been around with us.
No.
Wait,
He's been in Germany.
People are confusing
So-
me. Wait. I want to understand something. So how when do you know that you are going for the World Cup?
We've known since we beat Nigeria.
So we've been known since March.
Yes. So
You're saying that this
after
guy has.
he beats Nigeria, he went back to Dortmund to do his main job.
So
He's
from
9
the
to
March,
5.
he has
This
been
is
there
side
till
hustle.
December. Like I said, till November.
Yeah. So this is his side hustle. He's left the 9 to 5. He's coming to.
Yeah,
Do this
I
one
said
for a
the
month.
living God. So right now, it's only God that can save
Yeah,
us.
it's not less good because this Black Stars Day.
Yeah, we need a lot of grace.
Yeah. So just to tell you guys, it's the hope that
Eternally
kills.
screaming.
It's the hope that kills, and so don't have hope.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful.
If you don't have hope, and we go out and say, oh yeah, I knew we were going to go out.
Yeah.
But if
That's the same advice you gave me when we started this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Just-
told me that.
if you have
Don't
faith there.
expect anything good.
if it happens here, cool. But if it doesn't happen to I knew it. You understand? So you'll be fine.
No,
so
but
that's
Loki, you've kind of made me feel like there's no hope. To be
There's
honest, you
no
made me
hope.
feel like everything that a team that wants to win does, we didn't do it towards this World Cup.
it's
So
true.
as I'm going to watch the game today,
Yeah.
I should know that
Yeah.
my L is loaded.
It's loaded.
I mean, and that's like the fair point. Like, my message to Ghanaians out there is like lower your expectations. Like, you're literally
Know your level.
You are the lowest ranked. Do you know what? Lowest ranked team by
Yeah.
far. If you look at any infographic, you see how far off we are. So even when you look at our group, we are not supposed to be here. Number one, you are 61st in the world. How do you want to come and play a tournament?
So
for
the same
best
God who
32?
brought us
Yeah.
there.
So
Yeah, even if
So-
you start talking about how we got here.
yeah. So I mean, lowest ranked. You shouldn't even have been here. We got here through Takashi. We didn't even win the game. So remember that. Remember that too.
I don't know.
Remember. So that anything else that happens in Qatar is a bonus.
Right.
Just see it that way. If
Yeah.
we go out
You score one
I
goal.
don't-
We didn't even have to
I don't
be
know
here
how
anyways.
you guys,
But
your moms behave during World Cup, but like sometimes my mom it becomes a prayer warrior.
My mom would be like jumping it. I say, hey, you.
maybe all the Ghana mothers will unite and then
No, it's not enough.
some angels will come and play.
But it's just
for
90
us.
minutes of football. As I said,
Anything can happen.
yeah, Portugal are supposed to win, but we've seen worse things happen. If Ghana takes something away from Portugal, it wouldn't be the
We
most
shall
shocking
score
result.
you. We shall put pepper in your eyes. We shall
Anyway, so yeah, let's wrap
wrap
it up.
up the episode.
So let's do rapid fire. So basically, rapid fire is we will say one thing like a word or a phrase, and you say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
So if I say podcasts, what would you say?
Stay by plan. Oh.
Yeah,
That's the only one that has the correct
Good,
answer.
good.
I'm about to hit you.
Good. All right. So do you want to take the first one or?
No, you do it.
All right. So this one there, just a general football. I know your answer already, but let's for the people who don't know your answer. Messi or Ronaldo?
How on earth did you even think Ronaldo?
Yeah.
I feel like all Ronaldo fans are Messi fans. Deep down, they trust Messi so much.
They
Like,
know,
they think
they
he's
know.
so damn good.
Yeah.
But it's Messi. It's Messi. Let me not get emotional. It's Messi.
Yeah, it's Messi.
Okay,
I think
it's my
it's Messi too.
turn.
Yeah.
Your score prediction for today's match. Dun dun dun.
I think we tend to start World Cups well. Like
Rapid fire. Give me the scores. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Because right now I'm coming to bed, so you say it and let me listen. Because you have some data science backing. So then you can call rapid fire.
I think it will be a 2-2 draw.
Hi.
So cannot believe it.
I said we are not scoring any goals, so forget that 2-2 this thing. If you're drawing 7-0, when was the last time we scored 2 goals in the match? If you are drawing 7-0, see your bets. See, I feel your bets. 3-0 to Portugal.
You said 12, get away. You said 12 nil. It was very rude
No,
to
the
say
12
that.
is like after the 3 games.
Ah, right,
So
right,
this
right.
first game is 3-0 to Portugal. Okay, so last question. Who's going to win the World Cup?
Brazil.
I think Argentina will win. Afi, who do you think will win?
Ghana!
Okay, so yeah, who would you like to hear on the podcast? In future episodes. Can be anybody.
Have you done Sinaso?
No, we haven't actually.
Aw. Why did you pick Sina?
Because everybody knows I like Sina.
Oh, you do?
It's true.
Not the like you think.
No, I mean, like, you just like it.
I admire her.
Oh.
What do you admire about it?
I'll send her the
Ayeka.
video, so say it
She
properly.
makes good music.
And what else?
I love how she sings from within. Like
It's
Yeah.
deep, eh?
yeah. And I love how she blends, the local language with the
Yeah.
English and all that.
Yeah, so
I
stay by
agree.
plan. We have something cooking with Sina so soon. So watch out. Watch out.
I have vision.
Watch out. And
You
be
do,
there.
you do.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
So everybody watch out.
Okay, and then last thing, what song have you been listening to that you think people should go and check out? Like, what song are you feeling? Any song at all?
The worst person. I don't listen to songs.
Should I pick a song for you?
Waka, waka,
We're gonna climb every mountain.
Oh, wait. I listened to this song in the shower. You know Speed, right? His World Cup song.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So Speed is like a YouTuber.
But I'm so behind the one that you're probably like.
No.
No, the song is trash. It's so bad that it's good.
It's so bad that it's
Sing
good.
it. Let me see.
World Cup. It's really bad. Yeah. So he's a YouTuber who has become popular, and he made a World Cup song. And I was like, bro, this is so bad. But like he said, it's
so
catchy.
good. Then it's perfect for this episode.
Yeah, so listen to World Cup by. It's called World Cup, yeah.
I don't even know what's called.
It's a World Cup song by Speed. Yeah, I show Speed.
World Cup. I don't think anyone will finish that. Like an average person won't finish that song.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us on Stay Right Plan. It's been a very informative episode. We've learned a lot about football.
I have.
And data science.
Yes, now I'm actually an aspiring sports journalist. So TV3, if you are looking for a feminine touch to his show, you just know where to come. Like, I'll not talk much, but I'll bring the fire. So, yeah.
All right, thank you guys for joining us. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye. All the best to
And
Ghana.
Ghana, please, we beg you. Prove me wrong.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Stay by Plan.
This episode was recorded, produced, and edited by There Is No Studio.
Yes, that's the name. There's no studio. And thank you to the team, Nikita, Nams Photography, and Elizato.
And the opening song was produced by Lil Kwaw.